my name's Tania and this is my channel Just Let Me Sew. Thank you very much for joining me today. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back, and if this is the first time you have stumbled across my channel, welcome. I hope you enjoy the video and that you will consider giving me a like and even subscribing if you want to carry on watching my videos. That would be lovely. Completely free to subscribe, just means you get notifications of when I put out a new video. So, thank you very much for joining me today. It has been a couple of weeks since my last video. I haven't really been up to loads of sewing. Life has been quite busy, but I have got a few things that I thought I would like to share with you today. So what have I been up to? First thing was a couple of weeks ago was my latest Red Hill sewing social. So I run a sewing social in Red Hill, which is in Surrey in the south of England. We've got a really lovely group. There's about 11, 12 of us that get together, usually around once a month. So we had a great time sewing up, and we had a very special guest appearance from my lovely friend Mandy, who is Make It Sew. I will link her YouTube channel down below, and she came all the way over from Norfolk, which is a good 2.5–3 hour drive. So thank you so much to Mandy for coming. It was really lovely to have you there, and thank you also to your husband for driving you. Very kind. So at the social there was lots of chatting, lots of sewing. I had meant to cut out my Styler Teos sweater, which I am doing a collaboration with a few other lovely vloggers on. However, I got so busy talking that I got totally distracted, as often tends to be the way with these sewing socials, that instead of cutting out the Teos, I cut out another Blanca flight suit, which I had brought just as a backup, but totally got distracted and did that. So I have been working on my Blanca flight suit because I really don't like having whips, so that's works in progress. It really niggles at me if I know I've got something cut out or underway that I haven't finished. So I couldn't just leave it. I've had to get going on it, even though I'm meant to be working on this collaboration. So I'm going to have to get on with this Blanca and finish it off. But I will show you the progress I have made on it so far. So the Blanca flight suit, I will put a picture of it up here if you haven't come across it before. It is by Closet Core Patterns, and the construction of it is quite interesting, that you sew up the entire front and then the entire back first, and then you join those together at the legs, at the side, and then you add the sleeves, etc. Whereas most you tend to do like the bodice first, then the bottoms, and then you join it together. So I have done the back and I have also done the front. Here's the front to show you. So I'm using this lovely pink and white striped denim that I got from First for Fabrics. If they have any in stock, I will link it down below, but I think other shops do stock it as well. I've gone for the just patch pockets, not with the zip. You can also have a version which has a zip there. So I've just done the simple patch pocket, and I've added a little label as well, which says, I made this. That's a little rosy cheeks label. I love that. I haven't gone for top stitching on this one because it is so busy with the lines anyway. I thought it's probably not going to show up, and also my machine hates top stitching. The bobbin gets in such a mess. I can't backstitch when I'm using the thicker top stitch. I have to leave a long tail and then pull it through with a needle. So I thought I'm just going to leave it, and I've just done normal white thread stitching there. So that is coming together nicely. I have basted the front in, ready to put the zip in, and I'm using a white zip with gold teeth. So hopefully that will go in soon, and hopefully that will be finished in the next few days if I'm lucky and I get some sewing time. So that is what I've been working on at the moment. Also at my sewing social, I finished up a Lyra shirt. So the Lyra is a dress, it's a shirt dress pattern by Tilly and the Buttons, but I just hacked it into a shirt because I quite like the collar on the Lyra. All I did for that was just grade it out a bit at the waist and lengthen it by I think about 5 inches just to make sure I can tuck it into trousers. So I will grab that to show you. I'll also try and put a picture in of me wearing it somewhere. I haven't managed to take a photo yet. I have worn it, I've worn it to work, but I haven't taken a photo because I get up for work when it's still dark. Everyone's still asleep in the house, so I don't really want to be taking pictures. It wouldn't be the best picture. And then by the time I get home from work, I'm really tired, so I didn't manage to get one that day either. So here it is. And I was inspired to use this fabric by the lovely Sam, who is So Let's Sparkle with Sam. And she has been doing a few hashtags for her 50th birthday. And one of them was hashtag stash squatter, something like that, I think. When you've had a fabric in your stash for so long that you've just got to get it made up. And this was definitely one of them. So I bought this fabric on eBay from an eBay seller about 6 years ago. And I just love the green of it. It's a viscose, I think they call it a viscose marocaine, which is like a viscose crepe, but it's much, much finer than that. And what I love as well is that it has this border detail on it. So to a different shade of green and then a completely darker green at the bottom as well. I have used some of this fabric before to make myself a skirt. And the skirt I made just self-drafted with 2 rectangles and it didn't really turn out how I wanted it to. I'm going to revisit it and see maybe if just shortening it would make it more wearable. But what I had thought with this was if I tuck the shirt into the skirt, it could be, you know, like a cord set, so it could look like a dress, but then I can wear the skirt separately and the shirt separately. So that's potentially my thinking of it. So here it is. I've used a label which says made in 2024. It wasn't made in 2024, but I was given this label by the lovely Eleanor who comes to my sewing social, and I thought I'm going to use it up. So that is the one I've used. The buttons I've used are just beautiful. I love these buttons. They are black with this gorgeous little detail. Now I can't remember the name of the shop off the top of my head. I'll try and write it here or link it down below. I think I have shown these buttons before, but I love those buttons. When I make shirts, I tend not to use the button placement guide that they give you in the pattern because I like my buttonholes to be a little bit closer together just to try and stop any gaping. So I just measure them out myself. So I've got a few more buttons there probably than a normal pattern would tell you to, but just to be on the safe side. What I did find about this fabric, unfortunately, because it is so fine and quite delicate, I don't think it's going to last very long. It's already starting to discolour a little bit. You can see around the collar there, it's getting a little bit white. I was super careful when I did my buttonholes because I was worried it would snag, and I used tissue paper. So I haven't had any snagging there, so that worked quite well. So I did tissue paper on the bottom and on the top just to play it safe. I used a walking foot because just looking at this fabric, it moves. Super slippy. But the walking foot did the trick. That was fine. Yeah, so really pleased with this. I really like the colour green. I think it suits me. I don't really wear much green, but perhaps I should make more green things as well. So that was my shirt. So next up, I went to Walthamstow Market this Saturday just gone with a lovely group of sewing friends from Surrey Sews and also some of the ladies from the Red Hill Sewing Social. So we all met up, a group of, I think about 17 of us, so we were quite a big group. And as tends to happen with these things, we sort of all split up and some went into one shop and some moved on, got distracted by other things. And then we all met up for lunch at the Crate in Walthamstow and compared what we'd bought, etc. It was a really, really, really good day. If you haven't been to Walthamstow Market before, it's in North London. And it's meant to be the longest outdoor market in Europe. It tends to sell, you know, the standard sort of market things like homeware, cheap clothes, fruit and veg, that sort of stuff. And then alongside each side, it's got lots of different shops, which, you know, can be like grocery stores, butchers, but also lots of fabric shops. And the prices are incredible. Really, really, really good value. You will find a lot of the cheaper fabrics, like you'd find at the rag market, like the polys, but there are also quite a lot of cottons and higher end fabrics as well, which you can get for much cheaper. Some really unusual wool blends we saw for really good prices. Now, I was very, very strict with myself because I know that my fabric stash is already very big. I don't think I would be able to sew it up even if I had a whole year of sewing. It's not like excessive, but I've got enough definitely to be getting on with. So I knew I wanted to get some fabric to do the trim around the Styler Teos sweater that I'm making. I didn't know exactly what fabric, so I thought I'll allow myself to get a metre of maybe 2 fabrics, and then if one doesn't work, that's fine. It's not expensive and I can probably use it for something else at another time. And then I thought I want to get lots of notions like zips and things like that are quite cheap there, much cheaper than buying online, and you can see it in person, so that's always better as well. I did, however, get distracted by a couple of fabrics, but I was quite restrained, I think. So I'll talk about first off what I bought for my Styler Teos. Now the pattern, I'll put a picture of it here. It calls for, I think it says like a charmeuse, but using the matte side of it, so kind of like a satiny fabric. And I decided I wanted a pinkish colour to go with the navy. I'm doing navy Sherpa for mine. I'll try and add the card to the last video where I show the fabric. So I picked out this raspberry colour pink. Now on that side it is shiny, but on the reverse it's pretty matte. And I actually saw a similar style ready-to-wear sweater when we were at the market, and the fabric was kind of similar to that. So might use that, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to go play it safe and just use a cotton. So I picked up, sorry, that one was £2 a metre, so really good value. It's just like a polyester satin. So I picked up this pink, which is just a cotton. Not too thin. It's not a cotton voile, not a lawn. I'm not sure what kind of cotton it is. The guy in the shop just said it's cotton. £2. So I'm going to use that with my styler. Next up, we were in a shop called, I think it's called Saeed's, and it's definitely the nicest fabric shop at Walthamstow Market. You go in and everything's really nicely laid out, nice decor inside, really helpful staff who know about the fabrics that they're selling. And right at the back on the window, they had rolls and rolls of much cheaper fabrics that I think were either like polyesters or quite thin fabrics. And I spotted these two that I thought I could use to make up a bias cut skirt. I think it's a McCall's pattern. I'll try and pop it here. And that satin-ish sort of skirt that I've made up using that pattern has been really, really useful when I've had like smart casual events to go to and I've not known what to wear. Just that skirt with some little boots and a jumper sort of tucked in at the front is really, really nice. So I got this animal print satin. Again, it's a poly. It was £3 a metre and I got 2 meters of that. So just below the knee, that will go to little satin bias cut skirt. And I've seen those in the shops lots. In fact, I saw one in Zara a few weeks ago and I think it was about £30 and it was polyester as well. I thought, I'm sure I can make that. So that's that one. The next one I feel like I have seen somewhere online, an online shop, but I'm not sure. So if you recognise it, do let me know in the comments. And it's this gorgeous red and lilac, sort of a lilac-y pink floral. Again, poly, and this was £3 a metre as well. So I got 2 meters of that to make another bias cut skirt. Really pretty. Definitely need to use a walking foot, tissue paper, all that jazz for this, because again, so slippery, but really pretty. And then the last one that I got from that shop was a really unusual jersey. He said it's a viscose jersey, but I'm not sure. I think it's a poly. But it's this stripy stretch. But if you look closer, it's got a really nice texture to it. If that's going to focus. So it's got these little sort of ribs that go horizontally across. And I'm going to make myself a long sleeve t-shirt out of that. And what I was wondering, which I wonder if someone can help with, for the neckline, I don't think I can use the same fabric to do the neck cuff. I was thinking of trying to do stretch binding on the neckline, so just sort of flip it under to bind the neckline, but in stretch fabric, if I can find a navy. If anyone's done that before and had good success, let me know. I don't have a pattern that tells me to do that. It's only ever been using a neckband or just turning it under, but I don't want to just turn it under. I want it to have like a nice finish. So if you've done that before, if you could let me know, that'd be lovely. Thank you. So those are all my purchases from Walthamstow Market. The next thing I wanted to share is another plan that has just come into or onto my list. As you may know, if you've watched my videos before, I don't do a make 9 because I like to just go with whatever takes my fancy and what comes along. And on Instagram, there was a post by Simplicity McCall's of a new dress pattern that they were releasing, and they were doing a giveaway for it. And I loved the dress. It was so, so pretty. And then not long after that, a post came out from Fabric Godmother with a dress that was really similar to that dress that they were also releasing, and they were doing a giveaway. So I entered that giveaway as well. And I thought, oh, I really like both of those dresses. And it really reminded me of a dress that So Amelia, who also has a YouTube channel, you've probably heard of her before. She did a really similar dress a year ago, last January. And I remember watching that video and thinking, what a stunning dress. She had used a vintage pattern to make it. And I had thought about maybe trying to hack it myself, but inserting the exposed zip was just, I wasn't really sure, with the collar as well. So I left it. So when this pattern came out, I knew I really wanted to make it. Unfortunately, I didn't win the giveaway for either of those patterns. So I had to think which one I would buy, because I can't afford to buy both of them. There's just no point. They were quite similar in my opinion. So I went for the Fabric Godmother one, which is the Aspen Dress, and I will include a picture here. So you've probably seen it. They've done some YouTubes on it, lots of posts on Instagram. And the reason I went for Fabric Godmother was because I've never made up one of their patterns before. I've made quite a lot of the big 4, big 5 patterns, so I know what they're like, but I thought I'd be quite interested to make up a Fabric Godmother pattern. And I won't get into all the details of what the dress is like. I'll put a picture up, as I said. It's quite loose fitting. Unlike the McCall's pattern, it doesn't have any waist darts, I don't think. It does have the patch pockets like the McCall's one does. The Fabric Godmother one does have frilly pockets, and they are breast pockets, which I think would be not really something I would go for. I don't really want frills around those areas. It draws quite a lot of attention. So I would just do plain patch pockets. It is quite loose fitting around the waist, and from the look of it, they say that it sits on or above your natural waist, but from the photos it looks like it sits kind of low, and I've got quite a short torso, so I probably want to raise that up a little bit. You can do long sleeve or short sleeve. The long sleeve has a nice cuff detail, but I am going to make up the short sleeve version because I think that'll be a bit more versatile for me. With the short sleeve version, I'll be able to warm myself up in the winter months by wearing like a roll neck underneath or a thermal long sleeve top, jumper, a cardigan. Whereas the long sleeve, I mean, here's imagining we have an amazing summer where I need short sleeves all the time. I probably could get away with a long sleeve in our summer, but I'm going to go for short sleeve and imagine that one day I will be able to wear it without a jumper. And the fabric I'm going to make it out of, I actually earmarked for a Blanca. So my last video I showed this and I said, I'm going to make a Blanca out of it, but that's being pushed to one side, and I'm going to use this for the Aspen. and it is this lovely denim. It's very, very light, and it's got this lovely fuchsia and gold through it. So again, I showed this in my last video. This is from Ammo Threads. I will try and put the card to the last video up here as well, and I'll link Ammo Threads down below. They do like genuine dead stock fabrics. Really, really nice company. No sort of frills or anything like that. Just a really honest company. So yeah, that is going to be my Aspen dress. So I need to finish up my Blanca. I need to do my Styloteos, and then I'll be working on this. Sorry, I realise I didn't show you the zips that I got from Walthamstow Market. Zips aren't anything particularly exciting, but they are really good value at Walthamstow. So, you know, these kind of exposed zips, really long zips, you can get for a few pounds. They have just normal zips. There was a market stall on the actual road where you could get them for like 20p each, which is really good. I've seen them in markets before for £1 a zip, so I think 20p each is really good, and they had them in all sorts of different colours as well. And then little jean zips, which I don't seem to have on here, but you know, just the shorter jean zips for like a couple of pounds, so really good value. That is everything that I wanted to talk to you about today. I hope you have enjoyed hearing about what I've been getting up to and some of my plans. I'd love to know if you've been to Walthamstow Market before and what you think of it. Did you manage to get lots of bargains? Did you enjoy it? And what do you think of the Aspen dress? I have spoken to some people who aren't particularly sure on it, think it might not be the most flattering dress, but others have said, yes, love it, want to make it. So if you are tempted, let me know in the comments down below and which version you would make as well. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you are well, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Bye.